How do you know if a man truly loves you? This is the topic of today's podcast, and this podcast is totally dedicated to ladies to educate you girls about how men really feel and what they really think when you're starting a relationship with you or when they are in a relationship with you. So stay posted. Let's go. Okay, so welcome back. Now, the question is, how do you know if a man truly loves you? Of course, you can be in a relationship with a guy for several years, but he doesn't really love you, right? Like, he's just there because for now you're the option that he has. So, how then do you get to know, like, does the guy really love me, like, genuinely, right? So usually, ladies think that if a guy has been wooing or asking her out for a long period of time, it means the guy is serious, right? If he tries to show gentleman kind of act at the beginning, it means, oh yeah, he's different from Peter, he's different from John, right? And I mean, to answer this question clearly, I think we should start by getting into the mindset of men. So, guys, I'm really, really sorry. I'll have to reveal our secret a little bit. I mean, whether it's a black guy or a white guy or whatsoever guy, I think generally guys have the same way that they think. So, um, to begin with, you ladies should understand, like, guys already, they know how, they know what ladies think, right? Generally, at the beginning, ladies always compare um the guy who is new, who is coming into her life or trying to get her into his life, to the guy that she's had before. So we guys, we know that already. So we already know, like, girls are like little gestures, nice words, little gift, and things like that, right? And also, some girls feel like if a guy doesn't ask for sex so early at the beginning of the meeting or at the beginning of the relationship, it means the guy is serious. That too is a no. So how does a guy thinks when he meets a lady, right? So the first thing is he wants to be accepted. So look at these, like the documentaries you used to watch about animals in the forest, right? So um men are hunters, not like hunters. We are hunters, and what we want is to get our prey. So usually, um, the thing is, women always have this kind of, I don't know if it's a word or I mean, some kind of ideal kind of way you have to approach them, which generally it's easy for a fake person to use. Like usually, I used to tell some girls that this picture you have in your mind, a guy can easily pretend to be that person, right? So already women have these kind of rules and things you should do and things you shouldn't do that qualifies you to be somebody genuine or not. Now, let me tell you this, like guys, when they approach a lady, they're coming to get that lady. 99% of the time, that's what they want, to get the lady before they even know what I'm gonna do with the girl after, right? Am I gonna be faithful? Am I gonna love her? Am I gonna be there for her? So, but the first thing is they want to get the girl. So what does this mean? This means that generally men will do whatever it takes to get the girl at the beginning. So most of the time girls fall for this. Like most of the time it's, oh, I mean, at least he's nice, he held my hand, or he opened the doors, or he brought me chocolate, or for majority of African ladies, or he gave me money at our after our first date. Maybe he took me to expensive restaurants and things like that. So generally women like to be flattered a lot at the beginning. So as a guy, how do I even think like, well, I'm going towards the right track with a lady? I'm gonna be honest, like it's taking her towards the place where she wants to be, even if I'm not there yet, right? So for me, what I'm trying to do is just to have her. So I'll do what she likes. I'll do what generally most ladies like, right? So um I could bring gifts, or I could take you to places, or I could tell you how much I'm not like other people. That's simply what you want to hear, right? So I'm telling you what you want to hear. So ladies, generally, you should understand that at the beginning, guys do a lot of what you want to see, what you want to hear, and what you want to have, right? So don't be so quick to judge by the actions or by the words and conclude. Don't be so quick. Another mistake that girls do, this one is really, really crazy because even mature girls, they do the same thing. So another mistake that girls do is they believe like if a guy has been wooing her or asking her out for a long period of time, it means that the guy is serious. Like, he's been asking me out for like 4 months now. So yeah, I mean, if he wasn't serious, I mean, sometimes he texts me, I don't reply, or I don't, all those kind of things. And that's also another mistake that girls do. You feel like getting to show difficult attitude at the beginning to have a guy to struggle to get you means, wow, if he stayed after my bad behavior, my poor behavior towards him, then he's really serious. That's what most girls think. So at the beginning, when you meet a girl, sometimes you write her hello, she will not reply. Sometimes she'll be like, "Can I see you?" She'll be like, "Nah," and all this thing, like trying to play hard to get. The simple truth about this effect, like the real result you're gonna get most of the time, is you're just gonna make the whole thing become a challenge. As a guy, I'm gonna tell you this. I've had this conversation with many guys, right? So the more a girl plays hard to get, the more it becomes just like a challenge to a guy. So actually, even if he was coming, because I know many of my friends have told me that, like, man, like this girl, she's bragging, she thinks she's too much and things like that. So even if the guy was coming with, oh, I like this girl, and the way you start behaving, so to him, it just becomes like, oh yeah, she's playing hard to get, and I promise you. Sometimes the guys will even say to their friends, right, like this girl, she's playing hard to get, but I'm gonna get her. Trust me. So already, it's not more about love. It's about winning, right? Like I have to win. She's playing this, and I have to play like that. So it becomes truly a game from the start. And then this guy has been asking you out for several months. So you'd be like, okay, finally, I've tormented him enough. Let me give in, right? So you give in because that's what ladies they do. After they turn left and right and bend it up and down, and then they give in, then they just give in completely. And then it's after some time, and it's the guy's time to torment the girl. And in most cases, that's how it is. Except the girl is lucky to really find this kind of person who was true from the beginning and is still true after the tormenting period, right? So, to make this part clear before I go to the next one, don't you ever think that you playing hard to get and the guy being patient means that, well, he's really serious about having you, right? Never ever think that. If you're thinking so, I'm telling you from a guy's point of view. I said this podcast is to educate. So I want you to understand, like, this is not the truth, right? Okay. Another thing is, of course, I'm talking this one, I'm mainly about the African girls. Like, you always feel like if you give a girl money, I mean, you buy her this, take her to this place, and things like that. It shows like you really care and all these things. Let me tell you what, there are guys out there who have a lot of money and they just need girls to spend on, right? So, and also, we guys we already know that girls they are being moved by how much you can show them that you have this quality lifestyle, or you can offer them these kind of things. So sometimes some guys who don't even have this money, they might even borrow, or it might be a period where some certain money just got to him, and it's just like, okay, let me use this money to win this girl, right? So this also goes down to the same point like the first one. is still pretentious. Like the guy is not true about who or what he really wants. Because generally, even what you should know is guys don't even know what they want at the beginning, right? So the first thing is just to get the girl and to decide after, like, oh yeah, okay, now that I have her, what is this gonna be like, right? So another thing, it's gonna be sex. So most of the time, girls always think like, oh, if a guy wants sex at the beginning, this guy is not serious. Especially African girls. I'm African, so I know what I'm talking about. So they always feel like, oh, you want sex, that's all you're looking for, things like that. And they feel like the guy who asks for sex after, say, several weeks, a month, is the serious one. Now, let me tell you this, like, there are many relationships that started with sex and still went on well. And of course, that guys understand that if you want to keep a girl for a period of time, pretend you don't like sex. Yeah, pretend you don't like sex. So the guys could have done that before, like stay with a girl for a period of time without having sex, just so she thinks like, oh, I'm different, you know. And when she's in that, oh, I can trust you kind of thing, and then the real part of you, the guy, comes out. So generally, guys, they pretend. So don't think if a guy asks sex on the first day, um, it means that he is fake, and the guy who asks several months after is real. Never. Nah, 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 nah. Don't think that. So now, the aim of the podcast is to know how. I mean, how to understand if a man truly really loves you. So I lastly spoke about sex, right? And I think this is where everything melts down to. Let me tell you the truth, 99% of guys, be it black or white guys, know if they love a girl after they have had sex with her. Right? So, um let's take the first case where you just had sex for the first time. So before the sex thing, there was this playing, trying to be charming kind of thing, trying to have this girl. And after ejaculation, trust me, that is the time the guy is at least certain, like 50% of the time, 50% if he loves this girl or not, if he will want to see this girl or not. Many cases, the guy doesn't call a girl after they had sex for the first time. It can even be a guy who's been running after a lady for several months and having this girl for just one night, and after he starts acting up, right? So sex is the bottom line in terms of relationship, whether you agree with me or not, but that is a simple truth, and I'm talking from a boy's perspective. So if a guy calls you after sex or wants to see you after sex or treats you good after sex, right? Just know at least 60% he's already sure he wants to keep you. So for me, that is the thing, the main thing. Because I thought of bringing this in the podcast because sex is a whole lot of issue, especially with our African sisters, right? Um, a lot of time African girls, they act like, oh, sex is so righteous to me, it's everything to me. So if I'm giving it to you, you have to promise to me and things like that. Let me tell you what, sisters, a relationship will work or fail, whether you had sex early or late. It's gonna fail or succeed regardless. So why wasting your time to invest all your energy and everything trying to put all of these barriers only for this guy to pretend and come in and uh, break it down, right? Break it down and even hurt you potentially very badly. So generally the advice I give to a lady is, if you feel a guy, let this guy express himself. If you feel a guy, don't make excuses. If you feel a guy, just go. Let it go. Like, a girl asked me, like, so you're saying, because like I said, I've had this conversation with some couple of girls. So they're like, so you're saying, like, if I meet a guy, I should just sleep with him. One thing girls don't even understand too is that guys don't want to sleep with every girl, right? There's no guy on this planet who wants to sleep with every girl. So, and plus, as a woman, sexually, you have to be up there, right? You don't have to be, shy about your sexuality, about ownership of it. Because whether you're open with this guy or not, it doesn't mean he's your first guy, right? You've had other guys before. So, and plus, you enjoy sex. So, if you feel this way, like I'm saying, like, if you don't feel like, don't feel like having sex on the first day, then don't have it. If you feel like having it, then have it. If you feel like, like feelings, right? I'm not saying thinking, because usually girls will bring a lot of thoughts, like they try to make it mathematical. Like, oh, if I give in now, and maybe after, or maybe not this and that. So too much thinking is going on. So what I'm just going to say is, if you feel this guy, then go for it. Because the truth is, generally, there is no 100% guarantee. So when I spoke about sex, like I said, 60% the guy is at least sure if I want to keep this girl or not, right? So regardless of everything that happens before sex, trust me, ask your brother, ask your uncle, ask your father. Any new girl you meet, before sex, you can never be sure. Before sex, you can tell her everything. But after sex, it's just like there's this kind of door that opens and you start seeing clear and you start having your senses and you start being like, I don't like the way she walks. Oh, I like the way she talks. So usually after sex is when you're sure. So to conclude this podcast, because we don't have much time, I wanted to make it a short podcast. First off, don't condition sex a lot. Don't make sex to be a thing a guy promises you to stay with you forever. Like, if you want to have sex with a guy, my sister, go because you like sex, you enjoy it, or you feel the guy, right? Don't go in because, oh, if I'm giving you my body, it means like you're gonna be with me forever. Because that's when most of the girls get hurt. Like, yeah, the guy will say whatever, right? Yeah, okay, yeah, I promise I'll do this and do that. And of course, and after he's gonna show the real who he is because he's already had sex. And the reason why also you girls should understand, like, sometimes sex is like a trophy to guys is because most girls always like make it be like a trophy, because there's never a time a guy has kissed a girl and went to celebrate, right? So why is it now that when it comes to sex, guys usually go and tell your friend, oh, finally I slept with that girl, I did this with that girl, right? So now, before you really want to get like at least at a certain level of certainty with a guy, if you've not had sex with him, man, anything you'll be having on your mind can be fake, right? Because until when a guy sleeps with you, that you'll be 100% sure if truly he was the person you thought he was. So, this is gonna be all for today's podcast. Please don't forget to like, share, and comment. Thank you.